Well, 40 hours ain't good enough, and I'm working 20 more. I'm saying yes to overtime that I said no to before. That house and truck and groceries don't just come out of thin air. Gas and phone and internet cost more than my gray hair. And every time I punch the clock, I punch out feeling worse. Raise them up for everyone that busts their ass at work.
We are on location in Prince George with Chris Goodwin today. He's a musician, songwriter, school teacher. Chris, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you having me in. Journeyman carpenter. I'm also a carpenter by trade as well. So
oh, wow.
We got a lot of logs in the fire, I guess.
A lot of logs in fire, yeah. Awesome. So I wanted to talk first about your music and songwriting.
Gotcha.
Because kind of the biggest thing that's happened with you right now, I'm guessing, is the release of your new single.
You bet. Yeah, Working Song. It's been out for a little over a month now, so it's going pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great song. First
Thank
time
you.
I heard it, talking about busting your butt working and everything, it's like, yeah, that's something a lot of people, especially in the North, can relate to.
Yep. Yeah, I was feeling it at that time too, and when I wrote the song, and so yeah, I'm pretty sure it's relatable for a lot of folks out there right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about that writing, because in school and stuff, you write stuff, you write stories, you write things like that. You don't ever really write your own music in school. So what, I don't even know how to ask the question because I'm not familiar with it, but what prompts you to write a song?
I've been talking about this for a while. I still struggle calling myself a songwriter. It's a weird kind of thing to get used to. I mean, I play music, I write songs, but a songwriter? Like some of my favorite people out there, like Jason Isbell or the Avett Brothers are two of my favorites. Like those are songwriters. Like they write beautiful, beautiful words, beautiful lyrics. And it took me a while to actually come to the conclusion that, yeah, I guess I am a songwriter, as a matter of fact. Ironically, I started writing music when I was a kid, when I was like, I tell the story in my live show and my solo shows. My dad bought me a guitar when I was 11, and I kind of taught myself how to play the guitar, just strumming chords and things like that. And when I became a teenager, 14, 15 years old, I just started messing around with music. It's actually when I wrote the first draft of our first single that we put out in 2022, Shot of Jack Daniels. I actually wrote that when I was 14. Just the chorus. I wrote a whole song. It's garbage, but the chorus kind of stuck with me. And so I kind of called back to it when we put out our first single. But even back then, I was kind of just dabbling and messing around, but I didn't perform them for anyone or do anything like that. Just my friends sitting around on the couch. But I didn't play in front of an audience. I'm 45 now. I think my first time I ever played in front of an audience, I was 36, something like that. So it was just something I kind of did as a hobby. Now that we've put out, a bunch of songs, like a dozen songs, something like that, writing for me has become more of a wait for the inspiration to hit. I just had my first ever songwriting session actually just a couple of weeks ago with a BC-based songwriter down south named Doug Folken. He wrote hundreds of songs, really well known in the biz. I said I've always wanted to do a co-write. I've never done anything like that before. And so we got on a Zoom and I had an idea. I said, here's my idea, Doug. And he sat and was just like firing out lyrics. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, watching him go on this, like, this is just not something I'm used to. Like for me, I'm a title guy. I've told that story before. I'll come up with a title, I'll put it in my phone, and it sits there for 4, 5, 6 months, a year, or something like that. And then one day, randomly out of nowhere, something will pop in my head, and I'll sit down and I'll write a song in like 30 minutes, and in, out, done. Working Song was like 20 minutes to get those just boop, 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 done. But it wasn't until something hit me to write about. So I guess it's a long answer to your question. I guess the songwriting for me is all about when the inspiration strikes.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know for myself with kind of video production and stuff, I've got to look for the right moments and the right things to shoot. Mm-hmm. So it must be the same for you, but it's words and lyrics that come to you, right?
Yeah.
Rather than camera angles.
It's I wish I had a better answer for it, and I'm sure professional songwriters will tell you that, the method to their madness and how it's step by step by step by step. And I don't know that. I get an idea and I wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and then words just fall out, kind of thing. It was actually funny. So you sent me a text when last night or this morning saying you wanted to talk about songwriting, and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to this morning? Like, what am I going to say about songwriting? I'm not quite sure. And then a song idea popped into my head. So I actually wrote the first verse of a brand new song this morning, just thinking about, because that inspiration just kind of hit right there. Like, strange how that
Wow.
works. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
cool.
you'd said, like I'm a teacher for a full-time job. I teach at Westwood Elementary here in Prince George, and so I'm a busy guy. And so it's not like I take a lot of time to sit down and think about songwriting. It's more like when the song kind of forces me to stop and write this down, and that's kind of what happened this morning.
Hmm.
So it's interesting.
That's neat. Well, if that grows into anything, I'm going to be really curious about
Yeah,
that.
right.
What that could turn into. Yeah. So, do your students ever inspire any ideas that kind of make it into music, or?
No, no, not as of yet, anyways, but they are super supportive. This was my second year at this school, and then I spent 10 years at another school here in Prince George. And since I've started on this journey, for lack of a better word, they've been super supportive and they get really fired up about it and things like that. Me and the guys will play at, I think we've done 5 or 6 years in a row or something like that at the BCNE in August. And every time we play there, there's always a bunch of my students there just singing and dancing along and cheering us on. So, but not there's no songs written about them. I mean, if you listen to my music, it's mostly about partying and drinking, and it's country music, so
Uh,
not really student inspired, but they're super cool about everything.
yeah, yeah. Well, I want to go back to that first song you said you wrote because it's called "A Shot of Jack Daniels," and
Hmm.
you said you wrote it when you were 14.
Hmm.
So, how did you have the experience with that to kind of bring all that together into a song?
Well, life happens. I'm a pretty open book, and so I've never really shied away from it. Um, I started getting into trouble quite a bit when I was younger, at a young age, and making a whole bunch of questionable choices, you could say. And combine that with I grew up listening to country music. That was kind of what I listened to. So when I'm listening to music, talking about, whiskey drinking and smoking cigarettes and two-stepping on the dance floor and all of these different things, that's all I knew. That's just what I grew up listening to. So like the original draft of that song, Shot of Jack Daniels and a Marlboro Smoke, it was actually inspired. Actually, if I didn't record it, but thinking back about it in my head when I wrote it, there was a song by Toby Keith that came out at that time called A Little Less Talk and a Lot More Action.
Oh yeah.
It must have been right around that time, yeah, in the early 90s, anyways. And I think the original draft of Shot of Jack Daniels, melodically, was just a direct ripoff of that Toby Keith song, and I just changed some of the words. So, yeah, I don't know. It didn't really have the same meaning coming from a 14-year-old probably when I wrote it, but yeah, that was the first draft of it,
Oh
anyways.
wow.
Yep.
Cool. Well, any type of designer takes like that's what you call like inspiration. They draw inspiration from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for myself, when I was like, I used to do graphic design a lot. I would always look at other like magazine articles and other advertisements because that's where you get your ideas and inspiration from, and then go from there and,
Yep.
and make it your own. So, yeah, I mean, nothing, different there in that.
No, no, and it's just interesting how it all came full circle. Like it's our most popular song by far. Like we're creeping up on 200,000 streams just on Spotify alone. It's got to be around 500,000 streams combined across all of the services. Like it's by far our most successful thing that we've done so far. And yeah, it's just interesting to think that I wrote that when I was 14 years old. At least the
No
first
doubt.
draft.
Yeah.
It's actually the story how it came out. We were just in a band rehearsal one day because we were just a cover band. We are just playing covers and doing our thing around here in Prince George and just trying to make a couple of extra bucks. And I don't know, like if we were just on a break or doing something, just messing around in between songs. And I just started playing the chorus of that original version that I wrote when I was 14, just messing around. And my guitar player, Pat, who I hold in the highest regard, even though he picks on me all the time nonstop, and he's a pretty good guy. He looked at me just kind of, and I remember it almost like exactly. He just kind of corner of his eye looked at me and said, "That's a pretty good title." And that was it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go rewrite this song right now," because he's like a well-respected musician, and it was really, really cool. And I value his opinion. And so, yeah, just kind of rewrote it, and we put it out. And it's like, huh, interesting how that has become our most successful song, and it's that old. So
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's a good song. Like you said earlier, like you said it's garbage. It's like, no, that's not garbage. That's got a catchy tune.
the first version that I wrote when I was 14
Oh,
was
okay.
garbage. That it was not, especially the verses. So that's the version that we have out now, like the Shot of Jack Daniels that everyone knows. The chorus is pretty much the same. Melodically, it's a couple of changes, but lyrically, it's pretty much the same thing. It's the verses that were really not very amateur when I wrote them when I was 14. So I went and rewrote those.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, if you've got 500,000 streams, then yeah, it says something about it. And it's a catchy tune, and I can think about it in my head, and I know it. And I don't listen to country music. Country music's not my choice, but like, yeah, that working song was stuck in my head for weeks.
It's an earworm, but
Yeah.
and it's a working song and Shot of Jack Daniels. They're both kind of like straight formulaic songs, country songs. Like they're the thing about country music, why it stood the test of time, I think, is um, at least traditional country music, is no one's reinventing the wheel with it. It's 3, 4 chords, kind of a basic pattern, singing about real life things that people can relate to. And so songs like that, like Shot of Jack Daniels and Working Song, they get stuck in your head because it's kind of a winning formula, right? It's stuff that catchy hooks that you can sing along to, and a melody that's familiar to you. You've heard it before, I'm sure, at least some variation of it. So
Yeah, yeah. Were you always the guy who, if you showed up at somebody's house, they knew you had the guitar with you? Were you? Were you?
yes and no. I mean, yeah, there was some like, beers around the campfire kind of type thing,
Yeah.
especially as a teenager, like 17, 18, 19 years old. Once I hit my 20s, I kind of got into construction and life happens, right? So there's not really a lot of time to go hang out with friends and sit around and play the guitar and things like that. But it was definitely a thing. Another thing was a lot of people that I grew up with weren't into country music. And so, I mean, I don't just listen to country, I listen to pretty much everything. Metallica was my favorite band for years and years, and I still listen to them. I also love Frank Sinatra, and I love Garth Brooks, and I'm kind of all over the map. But while on the guitar, though, I primarily play country music. So people weren't exactly like clamoring at the bits. Hey, play us some Merle Haggard or some Willie Nelson, in the mid to late 90s sitting around the campfire.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Metallica because I was there when you were setting up one day at CN Center, and you've got your guitars plugged in and you're just tuning them up and stuff. And I'm walking around on the floor, and then I hear this tune played, head pops up. I said, that's Metallica. He's playing Metallica right now. He's
Just messing around. Well, that's how everyone learns how to play the guitar. I mean, your basic, like I said, I taught myself some chords when my dad bought me a guitar when I was 11 or 12. I always say 11 because that's the memory that stuck in my head, but 10, 11, 12, it's in there somewhere. And so, you learn to strum chords, and then you learn to play Enter Sandman, and you learn to play Stairway to Heaven, and you learn to play whatever, Iron Man or something like just these basic little riffs, right? And that's kind of how you learn to play guitar and hanging out with friends, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll admit I've got a couple guitars in the basement, and I can play 10 to 15 seconds of just about every Metallica song.
Yep, right. That was me as a teenager. And then the difference was, and I think everyone starts out that way. Like I make this joke all the time to my kids. So my students that I teach at school, if I'm teaching them guitar or something, they'll say, "Mr. Goodwin, you're such a good guitar player." Go tell my guitar player in my band that I'm a good guitar player, and he will laugh you out of town because I am not a good guitar player. The difference is we all grow up learning how to play 10, 15 seconds of Metallica's entire catalog, and then actual guitar players learn the rest of it. Whereas we just stop at the catchy part and just go on about our way, right? So that's kind of the difference maker.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then there's some songs that are really easy to learn. The only song I've been able to play through from start to finish is Breaking the Law.
Okay,
Judas
yeah.
Priest, right?
Yeah.
Very simple song. And that's the rhythm part of it, right? So, but yeah, it's fun grabbing a guitar and just sitting there. Like, I see it sitting there right now. And the friends that I'm telling you about, you know, you can always count on that one friend who can pull out a guitar. I've got one friend. I don't see him very often, but when I do, can guarantee you'll be just sitting here having a conversation, and then before you know it, he'll have a guitar on his lap, and you'll just be still talking, and he'll be just kind of strumming away at something.
Well, you know, I think that it just popped into my head when you were telling that story. I think one of the reasons why I was never that guy is, and understand what I mean when I say this, I never thought I was any good, which is why I didn't start playing in front of people until I was well into my 30s. Um, I just did my own thing, kind of sitting in my bedroom and blah, blah, blah. Um, when I played the guitar, no one actually took the time to really say, hey, you're not bad at that. Or, hey, you're a decent singer. You should think about doing that. I never got any of that feedback. Not that you should need that feedback, but I guess it was something that um, that was missing for me. And so, no, I just kind of kept everything just boxed up, just
Oh yeah.
kept it all to myself, thinking that I didn't want to annoy anyone by taking my guitar out and starting to sing along. It's funny, I've told this story before too. Um, at my last school that I worked at, there was a group of teachers. We started kind of playing music together. It was my first band. It was my first band. We were called Barefoot Fridays, but it was the first time in my life I'd ever played music with anyone. Like played with a drummer, played with a bass player. It was just not something I did. I just sat in my room and played my guitar. And we had a guy was working there. He's a local musician here in Prince George, and he's probably the most talented musician I've ever met in my life. His name is Curtis Abriel. If you know anything about Prince George music, you've seen Curtis Abriel play, or you know that name. He's done a lot of theater and a lot of different things. Anyways, he was hanging out with us there and just kind of watching us plod along and being kind. And he said this to me one time. I'll never forget it. He said, oh, yeah, you're good enough. You could probably front a bar band if you wanted to. And that's when I started taking music seriously. It was that one comment from that one respected musician that said, Curtis said, you could probably play in a bar band, which sounds not like a big deal now. But at that time when I wasn't really aware of, oh, this is going to sound pretentious, like the talent that I had, or, you know, what I was able to do, just hearing that one person say that was like a game changer for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah, and then everybody suffers from that imposter syndrome too, right?
I still suffer from that imposter syndrome. I was just down at the CCMAs down in Kelowna, the Canadian Country Music Awards, in September. And yeah, like just hanging out with and shaking hands with some really successful Canadian country musicians. And it's like a head scratcher. Like, why am I here? This is just the weirdest thing. At 45 years old, how am I here mixing it up with, you know, these 20-something-year-olds that are, you know, getting played on country radio, not only in Canada, but across the United States, and they're on tour. It's big time imposter syndrome. It takes a while for that to settle down, and I don't think it's ever going to go away, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. There's always another level to get to, isn't there?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Well, it was like our mutual friend Kyle Sampson, when he put on the Country Music Festival here in 2022, I think, the Best Damn Music Fest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kyle, if that was the wrong date. I think it was 2022. And I got a chance to meet and chat with Brett Kissel for a little bit. And I hold him in the highest regard. He's kind of like my benchmark for Canadian country music, him and Paul Brandt. And when I met him, and he knew, hey, Mr. Kissel, sir, it's so good to meet you, and blah, 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 blah. And I was reflecting with my partner, Kristen, afterwards. I was like, excuse me, it's interesting that I'm like 15 years older than he is, or 10 years older, or whatever it is. Like, hello, sir, how are you? It's just that imposter syndrome. Like he and so many others went and did what I always wanted to do, but I didn't have the guts or the whatever to go and do it. So it's, imposter syndrome, big time. Big time.
Yeah, and you just kind of get over that just by
You do,
doing it.
and everyone is so nice and so kind, and that really helps with it. Like, you show up to these things and you chat with people and you shake hands and you're feeling out of place, but everyone is so welcoming and so kind. It's like, oh yeah, you're just a guy, you're just a girl, we're just people kind of doing this thing, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's talk about the one song, the your working song, your newest single, because I remember when you contacted me about that, and the reason I was backstage there with you was because you hadn't played at CN Center before,
Mm-hmm.
and you were pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So like for me, I was down there on the floor. I was with everybody, and they were all dancing and having a good time. There were young people. There were people that looked like they were in their 70s and 80s, and they were spinning their wives around, and it just looked like such a good time. And you were up on stage. The lights were on you. It was bright, and you were cranking it out. And it was people were there recording you with their cameras, right? It was
Yeah.
such a great event. Like, what was that like for you?
It was pretty cool. And so I'll start with this. Prince George. So we are, I guess, at heart a regional band. Like most of what we do is here in Prince George or surrounding area. We'll go up to Terrace usually once or twice a year. We played in Quesnel and just kind of this area. But that's pretty much it. And the support that this city has given to the guys and I, to the Chris Goodwin Band since we've started, is crazy. I remember the first time we played up at Nellie's Pub. I don't even know when it was, but the first time we did it, we played up there and we played Shot of Jack Daniels, not to go back to Shot of Jack Daniels, and people sang it back to us. It's kind of that thing you always hear about when, people, you can just stop singing and the audience will sing your song for you. People did that with Shot of Jack Daniels. And I was like, only in Prince George, man. These people are just amazing. So then fast forward to the CN Center at the end of September and doing Working Song and a bunch of other of our original songs. And having Prince George come out, I don't know how many people were there, 1,000 people, 1,500 people, somewhere in there, to come out, support us, to party with us, to sing and dance along under those lights. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty cool. I mean, I'm born and raised in Prince George, so, I played hockey in the CN Center and things like that. And I've seen a lot of concerts there. Some of my personal heroes, Vince Gill, I've seen there. I've seen Bryan Adams a few times. The Bare Naked Ladies a couple of times. I love them. Like I said, my music taste is all over the place. But to be able to get a chance to play there was kind of unreal. I mean, it's not like the Grand Ole Opry or anything like that, but for me, it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Well, I saw the pictures and stuff of you signing autographs
Yeah.
and records and selling T-shirts. And
Man, it was so cool.
yeah, so many people wanted to come up and get their photos taken with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I could hear a lot of the people, like one person in particular was just like, you guys were so awesome. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. But she was like, you guys were just so awesome.
Well, I take a lot of pride in our live show. I've always said, we write music, we put up music, but if you really want to get to know us, come and see us live, because there's just something about that energy, having the people there. I love watching people dance. There's nothing cooler besides people singing your song back to you. But other than that, to be playing music and have people out on the dance floor dancing and just having a great time. So yeah, we take a lot of pride in that. So it's a good time when we're up on stage. We try really hard to, speaking of Bare Naked Ladies, it's actually something I took from them, or at least I was inspired from them. Back in the day when Stephen Page was still in that group, if you went and saw a Bare Naked Ladies concert, have you seen them live?
No.
If you went and saw the Bare Naked Ladies, you could tell how much fun they were having on stage. Like they were just having a blast, living their dream. And that translates to the audience. They're having a great time. I'm seeing it happen. I'm having a great time in the audience. And so I really try hard to bring that, and sort of the guys, us together, we try to bring that to our stage show. We're always goofing around, talking to each other off the mics, trying to crack each other up. You'll always see Pat walk up to me in the middle of a song and try and get me to laugh. There's just stupid stuff that we do. And I think it translates to the audience. We're having a good time. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. And I do remember that. I remember in your Working Song, you faced Pat and you started hopping across the stage. And that, because I was down on the floor when that happened, I could hear everybody behind me. There were so many people that were just like, yeah.
And Pat, so on that, I've done that to Pat before, and I've caught his eye, and I'll get him to crack up. In that particular case, he was focused on his solo, and so he didn't actually see it. But yeah, we're always just goofing off on stage. People tell me all the time that I need to stop dancing so much when I'm upstage. I'm always shaking my butt or doing something up there because I'm having a good time, man.
Oh, yeah.
This is really, again, starting as a full-grown adult, well into my 30s. When did we put out a Shot of Jack Daniels? Was 2022, so I was 42 when that came out. And so getting a chance to do this thing that I've always dreamed of doing at this point in my life,
Hmm.
I'm not going to take it for granted. We're going to have a good time and ride this out as long as we can.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. And you've got another song that's really popular. Is it Handsome Like Ryan Reynolds? Is that
Rich like Ryan Reynolds.
Rich.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You mentioned handsome in there at some point. Right?
Yeah,
No?
something in there.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet.
What's that song all about? Because I'm familiar with the song. I've seen the video for it. Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, good video. Good video.
Yeah, let's talk about how that song came together.
Well, that was a song I was sitting again. That title's just boop, Rich like Ryan Reynolds. Put it in my phone. Actually, I have a little notepad. I was going to bring it. I didn't bring it though. I'm old school. I'm old, and so all of my songs I handwrite. All of my songs, my lyrics. I've got this big old legal notepad. That's actually I've got 3 of them now, to where I just jot down ideas and stuff like that. But I had that title for a long time, Rich like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I actually had Rich like Ryan Reynolds, that handsome little devil.
Oh yeah.
That line just kind of was there, and that was it. That was like a year. It just sat on my phone in my little book. And my stepdaughter, Linnea, shout out to Linnea, she kept hounding me. When are you ever going to write this song? Write this song, write this song. I like this song. And I was like, nah, this is just a silly song. There's nothing to it. And finally, she pestered me enough to where I sat down and tried to put something together. And that's what turned out. Again, once I sat down to write it, half an hour, maybe 30, 40 minutes for those lyrics to come out, plus a year and a year and a half of just sitting on the title.
Yeah.
But once you sit to write it, it comes out like that. I say this all the time, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this. I say it to the guys. It's actually probably my least favorite song on the album. I don't love the verses of that song. The chorus I do find catchy. I really like that chorus. But we almost didn't record it. I had to be talked into recording that song. It's like, this one's really not for me. I'm not quite sure. And the guys kind of pushed, and so we recorded it. And then it was when we decided to do the video for it that I bought into the songs. Like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. The video's pretty good. Adam Harasimiak from Frost Films here in Prince George. I haven't talked to him in a while. I assume he's still here. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I would like to do a video. That was it. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And he said, let me go through and I'll listen to your songs. The catalog that we had out at the time wasn't much. And he said, I think we've got something here with Rich like Ryan Reynolds. And he came up with the whole idea for the video, the pool hall scenes and everything like that. And once that came out, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I like this song now. It's not too bad. And it is a fun one to sing along to and stuff like that. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was just one of those things that I sat on for a while and it just kind of came out the way that it did.
I know what you mean about that. There's so much material that I'll create that I don't want to release either, and it ends up being footage that ends up just sitting on a hard drive or ideas that sit in my phone as well. I've got tons of stuff written in my phone. And it was really hard for me to be also convinced by people like, no, you should totally post that.
Right.
And you find that once you do, it kind of like, yeah, there was nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
It's good. Somebody's going to like it. Even if you don't like it and you post it and one person likes it, now it means something, right?
Yep, I agree. There's another track on that first record. So we put out our first EP, our one and only EP, pardon me, at the end of 2023. And there's a song on there called Never Know, which is it's a tricky song to play. We never play it live. It's a pretty emotional song. It's about miscarriage and trying to deal with that from kind of the father's perspective. And another one we weren't sure if we were going to record, and kind of the ultimate decision to record it, was what you just said. It's like, if someone can hear this and connect to that, that's kind of a good thing, because people aren't talking about this stuff very much, at least from that perspective. So I hear what you're saying. If you can get it out there and get someone to hear it, it might do some good out there, I think. Getting people to hear it's the hard part. That's what they don't tell you about the music business. Is writing songs is one thing, recording songs is one thing, but actually getting people to listen to it, that's the hard part of the music business right there, is marketing and promotion and stuff like that. That takes most of the time.
Oh yeah. Do people ever ask and contact you, like, if they could use your music and soundtrack or?
That's no, but I have been exploring that avenue because that's a great way to make some extra income as well on your music. Because if you can get it into television, commercials, movies, different things like that, sync licensing. But again, it's another tough one. You got to get people to hear it
Yeah.
first, right? And so one step at a time. We're doing our thing. We're doing our best.
Boy, working song would be a good soundtrack for Prince George.
Yeah, right. I agree. I think it would. We're really happy with that song, the way that it came out, the way that it turned out. Sorry. The video that you shot, Jeff shot the video. If you go and check it out and put it together, that all turned out really, really well, and we're getting a lot of good positive feedback on it. So, yeah, hopefully it just keeps growing.
Yeah. You want to talk about that video a bit?
Sure.
Because it's with the lighting and everything, and with you being on stage, I know it was a big deal for you.
Yeah.
If I don't want to hijack the conversation, but you had contacted me two nights before the event.
Yep.
Right? It was 2 nights before the event. It was, we're shooting at CN Center. We've never shot there before, or we never played there before. We just want some shots of us up on stage.
Yep.
So what I did was I said, okay, I thought a couple cameras tied into the mixer boards, recorded everything, and then, talking back and forth, it's like, no, that's going to be a little too complicated. Let's just keep it simple. So I grabbed the camera, dropped it on my gimbal, and I just walked through the crowd, back and forth, song after song after song. So I played through your entire set, got shots from different locations all around the arena, and pieced it together. And I got you to send me, so I've got the official WAV file for Working Song. I overlaid all the footage on top of that, and then cut those scenes when you talk about working. I cut those scenes of you, busting your butt, signing autographs. Backstage when you were walking up, getting ready, doing the sound checks and all that. And I kind of laid all that on top of the video. And then I said, hey, Chris, what do you think of this?
Well, it was pretty unreal. So to your point, when I reached out to you initially, it was like, hey, we've got this song coming out. Could we just get some B-roll so I can use some 15-second clips for promotion and marketing on Instagram and TikTok and all those things, just to try and promote the song. It's always better to have as much live or actual footage rather than relying on AI or anything like that. I don't know. I'm too old for that for the most part. And so you were kind enough, obviously, to agree and come in and shoot some things for us. I had no expectations of a music video. I was telling this to someone the other day. I was like, man, actually it was after you sent me the video, I showed it around to a couple of people and I've shown it to the guys in the band. It's like, I just asked for some 30-second clips and this guy put together a music video for us. So that was really, really cool. And as a testament to your skill and what you were able to do as well. So yeah, we're super appreciative of that. And it's going well. We're coming up on about 5,000 streams now, or 5,000 views, on YouTube on it. So it's going real good.
Yeah, that's cool. 5,000 people watching it. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because I don't produce any sort of content that gets views like that, right? I just do stuff around Prince George and their parks and things like that. So to have it seen like that, and then when you told me, you're like, hey, this could be a music video. I'm like, yeah, do it. Let's do it for sure.
Right on.
Yeah. So I was excited about that.
Yep. Yeah. And like I said, it was a pleasant surprise for sure.
Yeah. But you could ask my wife. The night I came home after that, I'm plugging the memory cards into the computer. I'm downloading the files. I'm like, this was such a cool night. It was so cool being there with the lights and the fog and, the people. And then I'm editing it all together. And I swear I didn't put it down till 1 o'clock that night. I just couldn't stop. It was coming together so good.
Yep.
And I just didn't want to lose that momentum of the night, right?
I get that. Well, and obviously it's shorter time frames, but that's songwriting. It's once you kind of get that thing, you're super into it. You don't want to stop until it's done, kind of thing, right? So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. So awesome. Congratulations on that
Thank
video.
You.
That
Thank you.
video launch is huge. Is it going to be posted on any of the streaming platforms to watch?
It's all, again, I just switched distributors, so it's kind of all up to them on where it goes from now. And so, YouTube is always kind of the primary one. That's where everyone kind of watches everything anyway. So having it up there is kind of that's step one. And then anything else is a bonus. I think Rich Like Ryan Reynolds ended up going out on Apple Music.
Yeah.
And I think it's uploaded to Spotify, but that's like a beta thing of Spotify actually showing videos. The video's there,
Mm.
but I don't think you can access it yet from Spotify, or at least maybe not in Canada or our region, maybe only in the States, something like that. But
Yeah.
no, YouTube is kind of the big one now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. And like you said, you're approaching 5,000 views,
Yep.
but you just recently reposted all those videos to YouTube. So those 5,000 views are only maybe in the last month or so, right?
Yep, you betcha. Yeah, because like I said, I switched. I'm in the process of switching music distributors, trying something new, and part of that was some of my older content had to come down and get re-uploaded, like Rich Like Ryan Reynolds, because that video came out in 2023, I'm pretty sure, and so all of the views that had kind of amassed, kind of lost all those, and then we re-uploaded, but it's okay.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
saw it, and that's the important part, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, they saw it then, and then
yeah, and they're seeing
it's
it
that
now.
awareness.
You
Yeah,
betcha.
yeah. So what do you see as the future for you, for the band?
Good question. Good question. Every goal, I'm a small goal setter, and every small goal that we've set, we've hit. And it's always like, okay, what now? What now? Um, when we were playing covers, I said, I've always wanted to put out a song. Let's go and record a song and put it out. And that was Shot of Jack Daniels. That went really well. It went to like #2 on the independent Canadian country charts. Which, like, where did that come from? So I said, okay, well, let's put out an EP then. Let's go and record some more music. And we did that. Let's do a music video. We did that. Let's play at a festival. We played at a festival. Let's play the CN Center. We played the CN Center. We were able to do that just a couple of months ago. So all of these little small things, we've been able to kind of check off the list. Go down to the British Columbia Country Music Association Awards. We did a showcase down there earlier this year. Little things like that. It's like, okay, cool. These are things that when we first started, when we did Shot of Jack Daniels, we did not expect any of this to kind of happen. So it's just kind of little things on top of little things on top of little things. But now we're at a point where it's, I'll say we haven't hit a ceiling, but for lack of a better word, we've hit a ceiling of kind of that regional act status. Now what? Do we stay here and just kind of keep doing our thing? Or do we shoot for something bigger? And if so, how? How do we do that? What are the steps involved in doing that? Because there's no manual for any of this. Everything that we've done and any of the, I'll air quote it, any of the success that we've had, we've just been figuring it out as we go along. It's like, oh, we'll try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this instead. Oh, cool. We're having more luck here, and so on and so on. So a big thing for us this year, working song and our single that we put out in July, that was called Like I've Never Been Loved Before, which went really well for us. It was our first editorial playlists on Spotify and Apple Music. And so a lot of good streams there, a lot of good things happening there. That was our first time recording and producing music outside of Prince George. We went down to Vancouver to work with last year's producers of the year, the Renaissance, Dan Botch and Garrett Ward. So that was super cool to be able to collaborate and work with those guys. That kind of upped everything for us. And so we'll probably work with them again with our next batch of songs that we go down to record. But again, then what? So now it would be, can we get on some festivals? Because festivals, that's kind of where you're going to get people exposed now to your music. Is you got to leave Prince George and, go to wherever, the Sun Valley Music Festival down in Cowichan Bay, or Boots and Boats down in Lake Country, or these different smaller festivals. I mean, I try to keep everything realistic. We're not going to go main stage Calgary Stampede in 2026. We're just not there yet. But what are some smaller things that we can do to kind of go from big fish in a small pond, I guess? Oh, that sounded bad. Cut that. What are some things that we can do to go from kind of where we're at here and take it to the next level? And I think we have to look at things like that. From a songwriting perspective, I was thinking about this morning after you sent me that text, and I was writing this little verse of this new song that I had. It's an interesting balance for me right now, or I'm trying to find the balance. Our most successful songs are our party, drink, and whatever, mess around kind of songs. Those are the songs that get played that people want to listen to. Those that get played on Sirius XM, any radio play, terrestrial radio play we've had have been those kinds of songs. Any of the more serious, introspective songs that I've written that mean something to me don't find that same size of an audience. And so it's trying to balance that out. The analogy that I had in my head this morning when I was thinking about it was like a movie star, like a Nick Cage or someone like that, who will do, a bunch of these independent movies that mean something to him, that are, art films, things like that. And then he'll go and make the big budget, his Con Airs or his all these things like that, those big ones that are going to hit that mass audience, so that he can also do those smaller things that are a little bit more personal to him. And so trying to find that balance is a tricky thing to do. I find as I'm growing as a songwriter and a lyricist, which again sounds pretentious, but anyways, as I'm writing these things, I am starting to write about things that are more like true to life experiences for me. Mm-hmm. But those aren't going to pay the bills either, right? You got to find that balance of your working songs and your never knows, right? You got your shot of Jack Daniels, and there's another song we did on our first record called Walk the Other Way, which is my personal favorite song on that record. I think the production on it is really, really good, but that's more of like a true life story. And so finding that balance is a tricky thing to do because you want it both, right? I want to be able to be on stage, to the point from earlier, and watch people dancing and singing along and having a party. I also want to be able to sit and play with my acoustic guitar and hear a pin drop in a good way, not in a bored way, but people like really listening to what you're trying to say. And I haven't played very many gigs like that, to where people are actually pay money to sit and just listen to what you're saying. And so that's kind of the balance I would like to try and find.
Interesting. Yeah, and a lot of musicians, they suffer with that, right? Mm-hmm. They have, you see a lot of these musicians, a lot of the younger ones, they get brought up into the industry, and they're almost singing and performing stuff that's not their own, or that they haven't kind of bought into mm-hmm. themselves. And once they kind of hit a little bit of popularity, then they start playing their own music and writing their own songs.
Well, covers pay the bills, man. That's what we always say. That's in the music area here in Prince George or whatnot, and I'm sure everywhere. That's kind of a known thing. That's what we say. Covers pay the bills. No one's paying to come and see. At this stage, no one wants to come out and just hear your original music. If you want to actually make money, you play the bar gigs and you play the things like that, and you're playing other people's music. As we get deeper and deeper into it, I'm going to say it gets harder to do, but hard's not the right word. I mean, there's songs we love playing. We have a good time playing covers all the time. But when you're creating your own music as a group of 4 guys, like I come with the lyrics and a chord pattern, we go to rehearsal, we hash this out as a band. It's all band music. And we've created something like, awesome. This is so cool. We've put this together. But we have to make sure we can't play all of our music. We have to make sure we play other people's music as well too, so that people will actually want to come out and hear that and party, and we can sneak in some of our own as well too. And that gets harder and harder to do. It becomes less and less interesting playing covers over your own material, I find. At least it's a struggle that I'm having right now. I can't speak for the guys, but for me personally, even because I play a lot around here solo, just myself and my guitar. And even those, it's like, can I just play my music? Is that a thing? And it's not. You have to play some stuff that people know as well too, right? So,
well, I can see that. I can see that, because when you jump in your car and you've got a 15-minute drive or 20-minute drive, you're gonna pick. You're never really going, I'm gonna listen to something I've never heard before. Mm-hmm. You're like, I got 15 minutes. I'm gonna play. That's like 3 Metallica, 2 Metallica songs.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Have you ever played a song, like been playing a cover, and thought, this could be better? Or thought, like, I can contribute to something to take maybe what's here and kind of improve on it?
Yes. Actually, better, no, because who am I? I mean, if someone has put out a song that we and people actually know, and we're going to learn it and play it, good on them. Like, I can't say I'm going to improve on that because they're doing a pretty good job already on it. I do think there are a couple of songs that I brought to the band where be like, this song is fantastic. I think we could put our own spin on this. And if we wanted to, we're not in the business of, we haven't put out any cover songs as of yet. But if we ever did, if you want to throw a cover onto an album, like if we were going to put a cover on a cover song on one of our albums, it wouldn't be Chattahoochee or Friends in Low Places or like songs that people really like, really well known songs.
Oh.
I would want to do something more songs that weren't big hits that I know about, like album cuts and things like that. Like, we could take something like this and really lean into it and make it our own. I think that would be interesting to do. I tell the story in my solo set all the time. There's a song, I got out of country for a while in the early 2000s when bro country became pretty big. It's like, this is just not for me. I just kind of walked away for a little bit. And the song that brought me back in was a song, and it was a single, but it didn't set the world on fire. It was by a female singer-songwriter from the States named Ashton Shepherd. And the song is called Sounds So Good. And I don't have a clue how I ended up hearing it. It just came on how songs come on one day. And the first line of the chorus says, there ain't nothing like the sound of a cooler slushing in the bed of my truck. And I'm like, I like that line. That's a good lyric right there. I wish I would have wrote that lyric, as a matter of fact. And that like got me back in to listening to country music. That one lyric, it's like, oh, cool. Let's dive back in. And so I play that song. I tell that story and play that song, Sounds So Good, in my solo set. I really think there's something there that I could do with the guys. So that would be an example of, if we were ever going to go and record a cover, it'd be one of those kind of lesser known songs, I think.
Okay, cool. With people that are young, like the 14-year-old who's, sitting in his basement right now with his acoustic guitar on his lap, what would you, I'm going to get into something philosophical, by the way. That's why I'm saying this. What would you say to somebody like that who likes kind of just jamming away, but might have aspirations to kind of go bigger?
If you had this, and I've said this to my students, and there's two ways to look at it. Number one, if this is something you want to do, get in front of people immediately. Play for free. Go to the farmer's market. It was my first paid gig as a full-grown adult. Was playing at our Prince George Farmer's Market one Saturday in the summer. My teacher band, Barefoot Fridays, went and played down there. Busk on the corner. Go hang out with your friends and take out your guitar, to your point from earlier. Do something to get in front of people immediately. Because I think it's easier as a kid to get over that stage fright, that first initial, people are listening to me, I'm going to sound a little shy. Do that now. Do it as quickly as humanly possible, because the more you do it, the better and the more comfortable you're going to get at it. Pardon me, my band and I just had this conversation the other day. To your point, we have so much fun on stage. We're having a great time. That was all just reps, man. Like, get up on the stage as much as humanly possible, and you'll feel comfortable up there doing it. Yeah. So to anyone who's 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, trying to learn how to play an instrument and has this vision of playing, at Rogers Center or something like that in front of 15,000 people, get out in front of 10 people now, like right away. Yeah. On the flip side of that, and I teach this as part of my unit in music when I'm talking with my grade 6, 7 kids. Learn to play an instrument as much as you can. You don't have to be good at it, but find a way to engage with music, because there's nothing else on the planet like it. There's nothing that can help you through the good times and the bad times more than music. Play music, sing music, listen to music. Find a way to engage. You don't have to go and play on a stage in front of thousands or hundreds or whatever people. But you do need to find a way that you can use music as a tool, because it is, in my opinion, the most effective tool you can have in your life. In your toolbox, just sitting on the shelf ready to go, is music. I know when I was learning and teaching myself how to play the guitar, it's just me sitting on my bed, hanging out, dealing with whatever nonsense a teenager is thinking about at that time through music, through my guitar, through trying to sing, through trying to write, things like that. So there's two ways to go about it. But those are the two things. That's what I always say to kids. If you want to play in front of people, play in front of people now. Don't wait. But at the very least, find a way to engage with music.
Nice. The guitar's sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to play something for us?
Just play like it's a... Well, 40 hours ain't good enough, and I'm working 20 more. I'm saying yes to overtime that I said no to before. That house and truck and groceries don't just come out of thin air. Gas and phone and internet cost more than my gray hair. And every time I punch the clock, I punch out feeling worse. Raise them up for everyone that busts their ass at work. And this is all where Pat would be playing, right? So it's not a great song for just the acoustic guitar, just myself.
Yeah.
If heads don't hurt, no, sorry. If backs don't ache and heads don't hurt and you sleep through the night, you must have won the lottery or got rich when someone died. 'Cause most of us roll out of bed with our nose stuffed to the grind, working all our days and nights just trying to get by. These days there ain't no easy way to break out from the herd. Raise them up for everyone that busts their ass at work. It don't matter if you wanna go or what you owe or who you blow, those bills are gonna pile up just the same. Go ahead and toughen up your skin and lift up your chin and start digging in. There ain't no easy way to play this game. I know I ain't the only one that's living with this burn. Raise them up for everyone that busts their ass at work. And then it goes on to a big guitar solo after that, right? So,
that's what I wanted to hear.
yeah,
right there.
yeah, well, that's a fun one. That's a fun one to play, and it's one that we wrote it, and like a week or 2 weeks later, we had a show at Nellie's Pub, and I'm like, guys, let's put this into the set, and they didn't want to do it. They're like, we don't know this song well enough to play it live, and I was like, no, let's go, let's put it in, just no time like the present, and immediately that song became like our most close to Shot of Jack Daniels as like our most popular song that we play live because it's such a fun song. Wow. And it's such an easy song to dance along to, and just that line, raise them up for, and it's the t-shirt, raise a glass. This is the t-shirt that we put out with it. So yeah, it's pretty relatable. So
yeah, when you were singing it, I put my hand up for you because that's what you were doing. Yeah.
So hopefully that'll catch on the more we play it live, and then we can get some people to shout that out for us.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great song. It's a great song.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Like I said, not a country guy. I mean, I might have listened to a little bit of country music and the younger like Shania Twain days when I was like really young and everyone was listening to country. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to have a song like that's like a country song that'll like stick in my head. Yeah.
Well, that's good. We'll turn you into a country music fan before it's all said and done. We did it with Samson, I think, too. Samson was not a country guy at all, but working so much with us, and he's been so helpful and supportive of us getting our names out there. I think he likes country music now, too, as a matter of fact. So there's something, I say this all the time, no matter what genre of music it is, no matter what time period it is, there's something for everyone. You just have to find it. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper to find something that speaks to you, but if you look for it hard enough, you'll find it. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, yeah. And talking about the old Metallica stuff, there's that nu metal type sound. It's kind of interesting. It's different. But yeah, you can't. It's hard to. I always go back to the old stuff. I listen to the stuff that I grew up listening to still today.
Yep. I'm the same way. I think most people are, especially as I'm getting older. Back in my day, things are always so much better. But that's, you grow up listening to music, and that's kind of the stuff that sticks with you. That's the music of your memories, right? That's what music is. That's what you connect to it, right? And so being in the music business now, I try, like, I go out of my way. I force myself to listen to new music. What is everyone else doing? Not so much so that I can replicate it, because I have to do what feels authentic and natural to me and for my guys and for the band, for our sound. But you do want to know what everyone else is doing. Like, what do people like listening to right now? Um, like, country music is the best example, because country music today in 2025 sounds nothing like country music of 2020, of 2015, of 1995. Country changes so much. Really, country music is just pop music 5 years later, or pop rock music 5 or 10 years later. It's always just kind of evolving to what people's tastes are in other genres, and then kind of adapting it and making it its own. Um, at least that's the country music that you're hearing on the radio for the most part, right? You can still find traditional country out there, but you got to dig for it. And then you get a new breed of musicians, like Zach Top is the perfect example of a kid that's coming out that sounds like he would fit on a mixtape with Alan Jackson and Travis Tritt and all of those guys from the 90s, Garth Brooks, but he's doing it now for younger fans and turning brand new fans of country music onto this more traditional sound of country music. So it's pretty cool. A lot of creative people out there doing some really cool things.
Yeah, yeah. What do you do when you hear something you've kind of never heard before? Like, you mentioned a lyric, you heard that lyric and went, wow, that's a great lyric.
Lyrics are my thing. That's those are generally the first thing that's going to stick out to me, is a lyric. Randomly, it'll kind of catch my ear. I have a harder time with pop music. I'm not a pop guy. I'm not saying I'm not a pop guy. Everyone's got a couple of pop songs that you like to sing along to and groove to in the car, but it's generally not my thing. So it's usually a lyric. It's usually a lyric that'll stick out and jump out to me. I'm trying to think one off the top of my head recently that I heard, but it's usually anything like a Jason Isbell. He's like, in my personal opinion, the greatest living songwriter, lyricist anyways, alive today. Everything he puts out is amazing. But yeah, that's kind of the thing for me. And my tastes change, are always kind of evolving. What I like today might not be my thing tomorrow. Like this song I started writing this morning actually kind of feels like a folk song. Like, that's weird. Where did that come from? It's not generally the style of music that I write, but just kind of comes from wherever, right?
Do you want to talk about that at all? Or do you want to keep it secret?
The new song? No, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could play it for you if my life depended on it. Like I said, I literally just wrote a verse this morning down on a piece of paper. But it's an idea I've had for a long time. Let's see how to explain it. At the start of this interview, I said when I was a kid, when I was younger, a teenager, I made a lot of bad choices really early. I was into a lot of things that I shouldn't have been into. And thankfully, everything worked out and I am where I'm at today. But a lot of the people that I hung around with, my best friends, like we were the closest, we did everything together. We made all the same bad choices and blah, 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 all together. Well, I went this way and they went that way. And some of them are no longer with us anymore. And it's been, holy, is this ever making me sound like an old man? But as I've been thinking about it lately, it's like, why? There wasn't like a conscious decision to say, I'm going this way while you go that way. It wasn't, you wake up one day and say, sorry, guys, we're not going to be, that doesn't happen. How did I end up here and they end up over there? Why does that happen? And that was kind of the idea that came up in my mind this morning. I'm trying to even think. It was like growing up, I had a friend who made a joke of everything. I would laugh until I cried. I'd pass the joint and dry my eyes until he cracked me up again. And that was a good friend of mine growing up. And then as that verse kind of progresses, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And it's like fate flipped a coin. And tails, or heads, I'm here, tails, you lose, kind of type thing, right? So I'm not quite sure how that's going to develop, but just as I was thinking this morning about talking about songwriting, that just kind of, again, that boop, just hit me, write it down, go right there. And that was like 10 minutes this
Yeah.
morning before I came down here.
Wow. And it sounds like it's going to be intense, emotional.
And that's that balance that I was talking about earlier. I'm finding most of the stuff that I'm writing right now is a lot more introspective, a lot more mature subject matter, for lack of a better word. And it's got to find that balance. There's an audience out there for that, but that's a harder audience to find. You got to work hard to get that music out to people. Whereas the dancing music, the fun stuff, the shot of Jack Daniels, drink and dance and party and hooking up with with women or guys or whatever it is, like that's an easy sell. The deeper stuff is a tougher sell. I'm finding the more introspective stuff is easier to write for me right now, at this stage in life, I guess, at 45 years old. And so that's not to say I'm not going back to a lot of the the funner, more upbeat, more up-tempo stuff. Like Working Song is a great example. Working Song was my guitar player sent me a couple of riffs, actually. Some of these fun, cool country guitar, chicken picking kind of riffs that he was working on.
Yeah.
And that inspired me to write Working Song, to write the lyrics. Like, as soon as I heard what he had written and sent to me, just these guitar parts, it made me think like old Merle Haggard, old Johnny Cash. Like, this is a song for the working man. And bam, 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 I could write that out. And so I feel like inspiration for songs like that are going to have to come from outside now to kind of get my head in that space.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And sometimes like really popular songs are disguised with deeper meanings, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I was just watching a movie last night and there were two people talking about a song. And one person said, "Oh yeah, the song is about this." And the other person said, "I don't think the song is about that." Right? And they're just two completely different meanings for the same song.
Yep.
But then it's also a lot of your own personal experiences that you can kind of draw something out of a song, and kind of have it relate to you too.
I agree. With lyrics, I say this to kids all the time. I've told this story to my students before. At my old school, I used to have a choir. I called it a choir, but it's more just a group of kids singing pop songs. We were just having a good time, kind of like a glee club. And I had heard the song, I can't remember when it came out. Anyways, 10 years ago, the song "We Are Young." You know that song? "We Are Young." It was really popular back in the day. And I was like, oh, this would sound so cool. She knows. It would sound so cool with a choir singing this song. This is awesome. We're going to do this, and we're going to take it to Vanier Hall for Singfest. And then I read the words. I was like, uh-oh, this is like all about doing drugs. Like the whole song is like that. And so there are these meetings. You hear a song and you think it's one thing, and then you actually go and take a deeper dive or pay attention to what the songwriter is writing about. And like, oh, that's not what it was at all, right? It is much deeper. Another song I was just working on, I just wrote a song with my dad, who was like my best friend. He passed away back in 2010. And I sat down, ironically, it's the first lyric of the song. I sat down to write a song about him. And it's this kind of deep, I don't know, love letter to my dad. But I'm trying to package it in more up-tempo song, right? So when you hear it, you're like, oh, this is cool, this is catchy. But if you listen to it, if you actually pay attention to what I'm saying, it's just a tribute to my dad kind of type thing. So you can do kind of neat little tricks like that, I guess, as well too.
Yeah. Okay. One little quick fun question before we wrap up. I think we're probably just about at time.
Yeah.
So I wanna kind of get a thought from you.
Okay.
If you were in an airport on a 5-hour layaway and you're sitting there with your guitar and you're sitting in a corner somewhere and you're just like, I'm just going to play a couple songs. And anybody in the world would sit down beside you and just either play with you or say, hey, that's cool. Hey, let me sing with you.
Okay.
Or anything like that. What would it be?
Still alive or all time?
Doesn't matter. Just use your imagination.
Well, I think the coolest person who's ever walked the face of this earth entertaining people is Elvis Presley. So if Elvis wants to come and hang out for a bit, and all of his songs are really easy to play, so I will strum the heck out of an acoustic guitar and Elvis can sing, and I'll just sit and watch. That would be lovely. I did a podcast a year or so ago where someone asked if I could collaborate with anyone right now and put a song out, like a duet or something like that, with anyone in Canadian country music. Who would it be? And I've always said it would be either Brett Kissel but most likely probably Paul Brandt. I find Paul Brandt. Growing up, my dad was from the South, from the southern United States, from Florida. And so I listened to Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, George Strait, all of these kinds of people. And I didn't actually pay much attention to any Canadian music at all. It was always just kind of American focused until Paul Brandt came out. In like 90, whenever Paul Brandt came out, let's say 92, for lack of a better word. It was around that area. He came up with a song called My Heart Has a History that was big down in the States, but he was a Canadian guy. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that we could make great country music in Canada as well, too. And that turned me on to a whole different side of things with Paul Brandt, Terry Clark, Chris Cummings, Prairie Oyster, all of these bands from the 90s, these Canadian bands. And so I've always said if I had a chance to actually collaborate and do a duet with someone, whether on an album or sitting in an airport, I think it would be Paul Brandt. I really, really like Paul Brandt.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if people were sitting here and they're wanting to listen to you now, how do they find you? How do
all the socials, everything is at Chris Goodwin Band. People always try and throw a "the" in there, but no "the." It's just Chris Goodwin Band.
I know I've done that.
Yeah, it's just at Chris Goodwin Band on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the things, YouTube, and then obviously anywhere you stream music on planet Earth, you will get our entire catalog out there. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. Just type in Chris Goodwin Band, and we're right there. And we appreciate your support. Give us a like. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Anytime, if you ever want to shoot a message, I respond to everything. I manage all of our social medias and everything like that. So if you have something kind to say, shoot me a message and I will message back. Keep negative thoughts to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. And heading into 2026 and the end of 2025, is there anything in your calendar where people...
We're just waiting. I'm hoping to get back down to Vancouver to record in January. So Working Song was our last song from this last batch of recordings. And so that's out into the world. We're chilling out. We're going to go and do some Christmas stuff here over the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, because I'm a Christmas nerd. And then, beginning of 2026, let's go make some new music and get it out there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Chris, amazing.
Awesome.
Here
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Having me anyways, but I represent the band.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, great.
All right, man.
Check out Chris Goodwin and give him a like. No negative comments.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.